McGee, Prophecy for the Last Hour. You're going to really enjoy the video that's up next, so I'm just going to put a plug and ask you to subscribe, like, comment, share these videos. This is an exciting time for the elect. Getting oil in your lamp is primary to being prepared for the days ahead. Shalom. See you in the video. Hi, welcome. This episode, Prophecy for the Last Hour, Liz McGee, releasing the keys. So we are really going to go fast today into some very remez and sod level understandings that's always been in our text. And so come on, it might be out of some people's comfort zone, it might be off some people's radar, but it has always been there in our Torah for such a time as this. So hey, I'd like you to subscribe. Remember, subscribe, share, like, comment these videos. This is going to be quite a ride to the finish line. So take a breath. Today, I'm going to start a series of keys, and I'm going to start with like a topic called metals. Who would have thought? This is my little list we're going to quickly run through. Who would have thought encoded that the metals, gold and silver and wood and stone, all these words are highly encrypted words containing tons of information spiritually for us to unpack. Now, I want to say a couple quick disclaimers. One thing that we all, and all I mean the elect of Elohim, the people who are called and are responding to the Ruach in this day, that we have to learn how to do critical thinking. We have to put our thinking caps on. We cannot be afraid, all right? There is no fear in the kingdom of Elohim. He is our good shepherd. He is our king. He has so many epithets, so to speak, over us to keep us, protect us, and preserve us. So critical thinking is that you are able to go into a body of knowledge and you are able to question, analyze, criticize, like in terms of higher criticism, not necessarily in a negative sense, but how to take the text and break it apart critically. Synthesizing, evaluating, judging, discerning. These are all things that we are called to do. That's a Berean. This is all part of rightly dividing the word of Elohim. So while I dive down this rabbit hole, like I said, it's going to be out of people's comfort zone because a lot of times the ancients spoke in a language that is so foreign to us today. All right. We have replaced, let's say just in terms of metals, the modern chemistry chart with what all the ancients would have put under categories of, let's say, the tree of life, or under terminology like we'll go into a gold and wood and hay and stubble. All right. And their symbols. I've been through this so many times, so I hope you're up to speed. I have to unpack all this every time I use a phrase. But I do want to quote from, again, the Zohar. I am 100% Hebraic, Judaic in my outlook, my understanding, my readings, my boundaries for truth are within the writings of the house of Judah, Old and New Testament, because, you know, Yeshua was a Jewish rabbi. As were his early followers. They were all teachers in that tradition, all right? Now, Elijah the prophet, all right, well, let me just say, this is a quote from the Zohar, all right? Now, the Zohar carries with it the most esoteric understandings of these encrypted concepts, all right? I've been through that. Now, Elijah the prophet said to Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai, now he is the author of the Holy Zohar, and that's a whole history, and someday, you know, maybe you can get into doing some teachings on the whole history of the Zohar and the Kabbalah, all right, from the perspective of the righteous remnant who have preserved this, all right. So Elijah the prophet said to Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai, many people draw down below, many people down below will derive nourishment from this book of yours, the Zohar, when it will be revealed finally in the last generation, before the end of days, close to the Messianic age. Even the deepest passages will be explained. And that is from the Tikini Zohar, Tikkun 6. Now, so I'm saying it's not really that hidden. Yeshua spoke about this, everything coming out. All the prophets and the sages have spoken about this time Enoch did, when everything was going to come out. So that's what we're doing. And you need to have a critical mind, to think critically so that you can not be overwhelmed by the data, not be deceived by the data, and not be afraid of the data. All right, because we live in a time where Hasatan right now, as the god of the principality, the power of the air, has done so much, quote unquote, in the airwaves, on the internet, and all these to try to tell people that, oh my gosh, there's something really evil and occultic and bad about Kabbalah, Jewish Kabbalah, and the Zohar in its body of knowledge. All right, so whatever, if you're okay. So metals. Let me start with this, what I have up here, because this is there's a couple of principles that have to be, like I said last week, I talked about the 5 worlds and the 5 levels of the soul. See, within Hebrew and within the Torah, world of Torah sages, these people have very well established theologies that we, Gentile Christians, because I put myself in that category, we're never supposed to lose, we're never supposed to deviate from, and we're certainly not supposed to make up our own interpretations, all right? We're one house. We serve one Elohim, all right? We're brothers and sisters in this same thing. So to get back, now this is a chart of the Sephirah. All right, this is called the Tree of Life. I've been through this. Anybody who Kabbalahs this, it goes into images. At first, it's overwhelming. It's like, and a lot of the symbols are so, we've been tooled in our mind to think, oh, they're so evil and occult. They're not. All right, now let me say this. In this whole big picture, and this will come out, this is what is going to come out. There are sons of light and there are sons of darkness. There are people who use information and knowledge of the dark realms and the realms of light for evil, nefarious purposes. Okay, that's a given, all right? And we're in doubt. But that's not what I'm about. That's not what this channel's about. You can judge for yourself, all right? But does it mean that the original information is not correct, is not telling us information that is true, and that our ancient sages and prophets, all the way from Enoch to Abraham to Shem to Isaiah, all these people, Yeshua, Paul, Peter, all had the same information, which I'm going to show you. Now, all right, enough disclaimers. Let's start with some categories here, because what has been done by our incredibly brilliant sages is they have taken this little chart, all right, and they have encoded within it so much information using keys. All right, it's called keys of the kingdom. All right, now Yeshua made the comment, or was it that the scribes and Pharisees had stolen the keys of the kingdoms, or had taken them, in other words, and they could not go in, and they were keeping the people from going in to which in its context from it, the understanding of the kingdom of heaven. All right, heavens. All right, so the main thing that we have to understand is our text is telling us everything we need to know about the heavens and the earth. All right, and the heavens is called in Kabbalistic literature, it's called Zer Anpin, which talks about the lower 7 Sephirah. All right, which if you start to go into symbology of all the ancient cultures, that's where you will begin to see these little symbols. Enoch, before Moses, I have to tell you, he was a world figure. All the cultures of the earth had Enochian knowledge. All right, this is a fact. Before it got kind of consolidated and locked down into the amongst the people of Israel, and then later on amongst the house of Judah. All right, much of this was just knowledge out there. All right, and the question really always was, and always has been, your motivation, who, through who, and how do you access this information? All right, I mean, to me, I'm all about the Ruach HaKodesh. I don't know about anybody else. I can't speak for them. All right. they did was they took these categories, all right? So this is why if you look at a Sephiroth chart all over the place, they'll have so much information around them in the little circles or, you know, around in this, because a lot of people, not just me, have been trying to kind of consolidate and kind of make places people can go to you know, cheat sheet, so to speak, all right? So always you will have a Hebrew name. For every Sephiroth, you'll have a Hebrew name. And in the Hebrew. So we start with the top three. Keter, Chokmah, and Bina. And I have extensive videos on Chokmah and Bina, which is wisdom and understanding. And that's what this channel is. If I was going to rename it, I would rename it the, you know, the oil of wisdom and understanding, which is the highest spiritual understanding that you can have. All right. It's outside of the lower seven. This is eternal. This is in the high heavens. This is where Yahweh does not change. This is him. This is his nature. There. All right. So you have it. So you have, and they're all names. So you have Malkut, Yesod, Netzach, Hod, Hased. That's all right. So they're all named with Hebrew names. They also all have a, what's next is an ethical quality. That's why a lot of times you'll see that they're, like Bina is called understanding and Chokmah is called wisdom. Tiferet, and there's a lot of names. See, this is why, I mean, how could you, there would be so many, because actually our Elohim is endless. But these are some of the lockdown basics. Is called harmony or beauty. Netzach is endurance. The big ones too are Hesed and Gevera, which is Yahweh's loving kindness, and the flip side is his judgment and his justice. This is refers to, you know, the left side and the right side of Elohim and the middle pillar. Those words are in our text, and we have to know, according to the ancients who wrote the text, who were referencing what they understood, what they were talking about. All right, so you have an ethical quality, all right? And that's a lot of the point, like I said, and I'm going from this thing, again, let's just reiterate, called PaRDeS, you know, P, Peshat, let's say Remez, wait a minute, Peshat, Remez, Drosh, and Sod, okay? P-A-R-D, and there's an E-S, okay? So Peshat, Remez, Drosh, and Sod levels. I am all about, I'm going to give you, we're going to go with the Remez, which is a hint, and a Sod, which is the secret, the true secret mystery that is with Elohim and his divine counsel. All right, so this is where, and a lot of this information, so already by doing this, we are categorizing, we're keeping information in Remez, and Sod levels. So if you listen to the other YouTubes on PaRDeS, you can get this whole big picture. Now, then you have, and this is why you'll see this, and this is why in a lot of, because let me say this, what's really irritating to me and why I'm on this mission also is because the New Agers, Hasatan has an army of people out there that have been repackaging and reintroducing a lot of this information, because it is the lockdown, really and truly, laws of the physics of the heavens and the earth. And he's not giving Elohim any credit. As a matter of fact, he's kind of taking it unto himself in this whole big AI, which, you know, which will ultimately manifest as this kind of like mark of the beast. All right. So it's very important that we get back on top of this thing. All right. We have been, you know, my people destroyed for lack of knowledge. We've had a lack of knowledge for a long time, but that day is over. So we have a planet. Every single one of these is equated. That's why you see it with the planets. All right, and that's why you'll see in a lot of these, you know, Mars and Venus and Mercury and Earth and the Sun and the Moon. These are all very important words, all right, that are referencing real things. All right, just to keep going quick, you have, and a color. We know this, they're also equated with a color. And that, you know, if people understand the rainbow, when Noah made a covenant after the flood with Yahweh, and there was shown a bow in the heaven, which really is the word rainbow, which is really showing you all the wavelengths of color. See, because this is where I'm going to flip-flop at somewhat between the science and the theology, which are really the same thing. This is very important to understand. Modern science is not discovering anything new. There is nothing new under the sun. But they're discovering again what the ancients always knew. But again, it's a propaganda war. All right, so we have color. We have the days of the week, and this is again a big one. Why? With each planet will be assigned a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it will be assigned also a planet and an angel over it. All right, and I'm going to get into all this. Why? What are they doing, and what reality is this all telling us? The other one, and this is why, again, the day of the week, it's so awesome, like Malkut, all right? And the cycle of 7 days is so huge, but Malkut, or let me just say, one of the other code word names for Malkut, well, is Sabbath. It's not an accident. The Sabbath is the seventh day. It's correlated with the seventh day, and it is the Shabbat. That's purely done. That's very purposeful because of they all correspond to each other. So then you have direction. This is another big one. This is where, see, this is huge again. If you don't understand how in the text they use these words in the Ramaz and Sod level, north, south, east, and west, and up and down, or above and below. All right? Those are all directional cues to tell you, again, in the huge hypercube of, so to speak, of the heavens and the earth, where you are. Like anything, there has to be direction. There is direction. All right? These also equate when they're paired up with the body. This is again, and all right, let me make this point, because this is where, people, a lot of this information is being rediscovered. Oh, yes, amongst Hindus, Buddhist religions, Taoism, a lot of these ancient Mideast religions. And it's not an accident. These are religions from the East, all right? East kind of also refers to what the sun rises in the East. It's a time of beginnings. They're early civilizations. Well, it's not an accident. Like I told you, all this information is also in the Book of Noah, and these people knew Enochian literature and worldview and understanding, all right? And it talks about Abraham. There's a very famous Midrashic story. It's where Abraham, when he had concubines, and he sent, at some point in the story, he sent the concubines away, and he gave them gifts. And it talks about gold and silver. And when I unpack the metals, you'll understand. We're not talking, yes, and literally he gave them gold and silver, all right? But, we're not concerned at all about the things of this earth, the things of this world. We want to get into the upper worlds and understand gold and silver. The deep understandings, they left with all this information. They encoded, encrypted it, and used it in their religions, all right? That is why it's there, all right? But the body, you elect of the last days, if you're a Gentile Christian, if you're, more of a Hebrew roots, if you are a child of Judah, if you understand Jewish roots, you've got to get back to your source, all right, which has everything, in my opinion, is this is the point, sort of the kingpin of religion, of knowledge, because it is coming from the purest, and its preservation from the purest stream. All right. I'm going to come back with some new information. We're going to get right into now metals.